Imagine a world where the medicine that could save your life is not locked away in a far-off laboratory or yet to be invented, but is instead hidden in the very blueprint of your own body, buried deep within your cells, overlooked by decades of scientific research. What if the next wave of life-changing drugs is not something humanity needs to create from scratch, but rather something waiting to be found, like a buried treasure charted only by the bravest pioneers? Welcome to the high-stakes, fast-evolving race for the most mysterious frontier in human biology, the search for the hidden human proteome, a realm where a single discovery could reshape global healthcare, redefine the limits of medicine, and spark an economic transformation measured in the billions. For the better part of the last half-century, the global pharmaceutical industry has been guided by a seemingly complete map, the roughly 20,000 proteins identified by the monumental Human Genome Project. These proteins, like the familiar actors in a well-rehearsed play, have been the focus of nearly every modern drug. If you've ever taken a prescription, there's a strong chance it was designed to interact with one of these proteins. But what if this map is only a fraction of the real territory? What if, lurking in the shadows, are tens of thousands of overlooked, uncharted proteins, each potentially holding the key to diseases that have defied treatment for generations? This is the bold thesis of John Lepore, the visionary CEO of Profound Therapeutics. After nearly 20 years leading drug discovery at GlaxoSmithKline, Lepore became convinced that the greatest untapped resource in medicine might be what scientists are not seeing, the so-called expanded human proteome. He and his team at Profound Therapeutics have set out to answer a radically different question. Not just, how do we better target what we already know, but what are we missing entirely? Their answer could rewrite the rules of biology, shift the economic center of gravity in pharma, and change the fate of millions. So, what is this expanded proteome? Put simply, it is the sum of all proteins actually being produced in human cells, not just the classic 20,000 identified genes, but a far greater universe that includes proteins made through alternative splicing, non-canonical translation, previously ignored regions of DNA, and a dizzying array of post-translational modifications. Some estimates suggest that, instead of a mere 20,000 proteins, there may be upwards of 100,000 distinct protein forms at work in the body at any given time. The majority of these remain mysterious, uncharacterized, and, until recently, invisible to science. To illuminate this hidden landscape, Profound Therapeutics developed an advanced discovery engine, the ProFoundry platform. This is not just another high-throughput screening tool, but a sophisticated confluence of next-generation sequencing, RiboSeq technology, multi-omics analysis, and the latest breakthroughs in artificial intelligence and machine learning. RiboSeq, short for ribosome profiling sequencing, offers researchers a real-time snapshot of which proteins are being actively manufactured in each cell, minute by minute. It's like giving scientists a telescope powerful enough to see every new star forming in the biological universe. But the data generated by these tools is vast, truly astronomical in scale. Each experiment can produce terabytes of information, capturing the subtle dance of proteins as they are transcribed, folded, and modified. This is where artificial intelligence comes into its own. Machine learning algorithms comb through these mountains of data, searching for patterns and anomalies that human eyes would miss. They help predict which of these novel proteins might be linked to disease, and which offer the most promising avenues for drug development. John Lepore explains it this way: we are laser-focused on studying proteins with the highest likelihood of having a significant impact for patients. By mapping genetic mutations and disease associations to these newly uncovered proteins, Profound can prioritize those most likely to yield breakthrough therapies. It's a radical leap from the old model, where researchers would spend years studying a single protein at a time, often chasing false leads. Now entire libraries of proteins can be evaluated in parallel, their disease relevance ranked before a single wet lab experiment begins. This disruptive approach has already captured the attention of the world's pharmaceutical giants. In the early summer of the year 2024, Profound struck a landmark deal with Pfizer, one of the world's largest drug makers, to mine the expanded proteome for novel treatments targeting the global obesity epidemic. Soon after, a strategic collaboration with Novartis was announced, focusing on cardiovascular disease, a therapeutic area projected to reach a market size of $150 billion within the next several years. For context, that's more than the gross domestic product of many small countries. These alliances are more than just big business transactions. They are pivotal bets on a new way of thinking about disease. As Cyrus Cole of A Invest puts it, the Profound Novartis collaboration is more than a corporate deal. It's a milestone in unlocking the expanded proteome's therapeutic potential. But as thrilling as these developments are, the path forward is anything but simple. Discovering thousands of new proteins does not mean that cures follow overnight. In fact, it introduces one of the most daunting problems in modern biomedical science. Out of this molecular haystack, how do you identify the handful of needles that really matter? Even the most advanced machine learning models can generate false positives, and the biological complexity is staggering. Fiona Marshall, the chief scientific officer at Novartis, warns, identifying truly novel therapeutic targets is only the first step. The challenge is turning those discoveries into real medicines that can safely and effectively treat patients. Let's pause here for a moment. Imagine having 1,000 puzzle pieces but not knowing which ones fit together, or even what picture you're supposed to make. That's the challenge Profound and its partners face. The expanded proteome offers unprecedented opportunity, but also unprecedented risk. Many of these new proteins may not be viable drug targets at all. Some may play critical roles in basic cellular functions, making them dangerous to manipulate. Others may be linked to rare diseases with small patient populations, raising tough questions about commercial viability and healthcare equity. This is not just abstract theory. Profound's early work has already delivered promising leads in oncology, immunology, and metabolic disorders. The company has identified previously unknown cytokines, key signaling molecules in the immune system, along with tumor-specific antigens and secreted metabolic regulators that could form the basis for entirely new classes of drugs. And the industry is taking note. The financial terms of the Profound Novartis deal include an upfront payment of $25 million, with the potential for up to $750 million in milestone payments per successful target, plus royalties on future sales. In the world of biotech, these are blockbuster numbers. But beyond the economics, the implications for patients are staggering. Imagine a future where every major disease, whether it's a common affliction like diabetes or a rare genetic disorder, has its own unique molecular fingerprint. Instead of relying on blunt, one-size-fits-all drugs, doctors could prescribe therapies tailored to the precise proteins driving each patient's illness. This vision lies at the heart of precision medicine, a field that has already begun to transform cancer care and now stands poised to revolutionize treatment for everything from autoimmune disease to neurodegeneration. Of course, getting there will require overcoming formidable scientific, logistical, and ethical challenges. The sheer flood of data, thousands of novel proteins, millions of potential interactions, and endless molecular pathways could overwhelm even the most sophisticated research teams. While artificial intelligence can help manage this complexity, it is not infallible. Algorithms can be biased by the data they are trained on, leading researchers astray. False positives and dead ends are an inevitable part of the process. And as more powerful AI enters the mix, the risk of overfitting, seeing patterns where none exist, increases. There are also profound ethical questions to consider. If companies race to commercialize untested therapies, there is the danger of exposing patients to unforeseen risks. Regulatory agencies must balance the urgent need for innovation with the responsibility to protect public safety. Furthermore, as therapies become more personalized, issues of access and affordability come to the forefront. Will these breakthroughs be available to all, or only to a privileged few? How do we ensure that the benefits of this new era in medicine are distributed equitably across societies and around the globe? Yet the magnitude of the opportunity is impossible to ignore. Pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer and Novartis are not investing hundreds of millions in this area because of hype alone. They see the chance to unlock therapies for diseases that have resisted conventional approaches for decades. Cardiovascular disease, for example, remains the world's leading cause of death, with a global market projected to exceed $150 billion and growing at a compound annual rate of approximately 5.5%. The Profound Novartis partnership could set the stage for a new generation of treatments that save countless lives and reduce the staggering costs associated with chronic illness. But what does all this mean for you, the viewer, the patient, the curious global citizen? First and foremost, it's a powerful reminder that the world of medicine is evolving at breakneck speed. If you or someone you love faces a disease with limited treatment options, the next few years could bring therapies that would have sounded like science fiction just a decade ago. These medicines may come from proteins no one had ever studied before, discovered not by traditional laboratory techniques, but by algorithms trained on oceans of genetic and proteomic data. It's also a call to curiosity. The science behind your health is becoming increasingly complex and more fascinating than ever. Keeping up with these advances won't just help you make better decisions about your own care. It will empower you to ask smarter questions, advocate for access to innovative treatments, and participate in a public dialogue about the future of healthcare. Let's look at some practical advice for aspiring scientists and entrepreneurs. If you're studying biology, learn to code. If you're a data scientist, dive into genomics. If you're a clinician, become fluent in the language of algorithms. The future of medicine will belong to those who can bridge these worlds, translating discovery into impact at the speed of technology. Companies that fail to adapt risk being left behind, as old models of drug discovery give way to a more agile, data-driven approach. Even if you're outside the industry, there's a broader lesson here. Progress in health and technology is no longer just about big inventions or blockbuster drugs. It's about connecting the right dots, sometimes at lightning speed, and having the wisdom to know which connections truly matter. As more powerful computational tools enter the scene, the pace of discovery will only accelerate, but so too will the need for careful validation, rigorous testing, and thoughtful regulation. So, can this technological revolution in proteomics and drug discovery actually deliver the game-changing medicines the world needs? Or will the complexity of biology and the realities of business ultimately slow progress? The truth is, both outcomes are likely. The leap in discovery power is real. Never before have scientists had such a comprehensive view of the molecular machinery of life. But translating these discoveries into safe, effective therapies will remain a marathon, not a sprint. The coming decade will almost certainly bring spectacular breakthroughs, perhaps in areas like rare genetic diseases, cancer immunotherapy, or metabolic disorders, as well as sobering lessons about the limits of data, the unpredictability of biology, and the need for humility in the face of the unknown. And here's a secret that brings the story full circle. Many of the proteins that Profound Therapeutics uncovers don't even have names yet. Some are so new to science that they exist only as anonymous entries in enormous databases, just numbers, waiting for someone to unlock their story. That means that the next life-saving drug might come from a protein that, as of today, no human being has ever even described. In a very real sense, we are living in the age of biological discovery, where the boundaries of medicine are being redrawn in real time. Let's take a moment to imagine a future scenario. Suppose a child is born in the late 2030s with a rare genetic disorder previously thought untreatable. Thanks to advances in mapping the expanded proteome, doctors are able to pinpoint the exact protein malfunction responsible for the disease. Within months, not years, a new therapy is developed, targeting that specific protein and offering hope where none existed before. This is not fantasy. It is the logical conclusion of the work being done today by companies like Profound Therapeutics, their partners, and the armies of scientists pushing the boundaries of what's possible. But with great power comes great responsibility. The choice is made now about what proteins to study, how to validate findings, how to ensure access and equity will shape the medical landscape for generations. It's a time for optimism, but also for serious reflection. The frontier of human biology is vast, and we are only beginning to chart its contours. If you found this deep dive into the future of drug discovery fascinating, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with anyone passionate about health, technology, and the future of medicine. Together, we can explore